Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Cursed be the ground, for our sake. Both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for us. For out of the ground we were taken, for the dust we are. And to the dust we shall return.
You can't win, you can't break even, and you can't get out of the game. People keep saying things are gonna change, but they look just like they stay the same. You're getting way over your head, and you only got yourself to blame. You can't win, child, can't break even, can't get out of the game. Yeah.
I'm done with life, and it's all Jermaine's fault. It's always Jermaine's fault. I'm done.
All right, you dusty denizens. I'm doing this a little late, later than usual, right before arts. Just wanted to get one in, so I'm punching the clock. This should be an interesting one. This one was actually sent to me by Sao Chi, okay, my number 2. And we'll jump right in because we probably don't have that much time to waste because art's going to be starting right around 7 o'clock. So we'll go ahead and jump on in. I said, AB, what's going on? First in on Instant Media on Dusty Transporter Pad 7. Brother Truth Be Told, what's up? Can See in Red. Royal Priest. Babu, what's happening? Louis, what's happening? AL, what's going on? Raven Knight, what's happening? What kind of eye-catching title is that? That's why it's been, well, don't even befriend them at this point. It's a long story. He'll throw her husband away with clean to death on a Twinkie. That is probably true. Very Little, what's happening? Eddie, what's happening? AM, what's happening? AL, what's going on? Front Toward the Enemy, what's happening? I foresee a major roast here based on the stomach. Not really. You know, I just wanted. It was actually sent to me as a short, and I went and found the entire video. It's probably more like a precautionary tale. Supreme Pivot, what's happening? I'm at work and still going to tune in. I appreciate you. Inspired Truth, what's going on? Corey, Toya, what's happening? Adric, what's going on? There's Toya with the apple. Indigo Flow, what's happening? You get it out the mud, out the dust. We are not the same. Chief Butter Biscuits, what's happening? She never lost that plate, though. She's African, so they built like that. Prince, what's happening? Snowman, what's up? In Dust We Trust, what's happening? Carl, what's happening? Hurricane Greg, what's happening? Hey, Snowman, you're going to do that thing on Stephen A. and Nancy Lieberman. They had that long talk about Caitlyn. Hurricane Greg, what's happening? Cynical Optimist, what's happening? Okay, y'all bump my likes. The Seconomist, what's going on? Chicago Chicano, what's happening? Digging deeper perspective of the current black male-female relationship. Okay, appreciate you. Dave Tao, one of my day ones. OX, what's happening? Noir Truth, what's happening? Mr. Donnie Mack. Trail. Henderson, what's going on? Aquatechy, what's happening? Ian Latoine, what's going on? Money Motion, what's going on, Doc? Dr. Thunder's in the house. Aquatechy's in the house. invest and motivate. What's happening? Man, just getting off work. I don't think I'll be able to hang, but glad to be here with you. Okay, appreciate you stopping in. Michael, what's happening? Hunter X-Men, what's going on? LAPD SWAT, what's going on? Del Quavius, what's happening? Guy Incognito, Nate. Win Forever, what's going on? Pookie, what's happening? Artisan, Dusty PhD, Rodney, Ibuki Cabal, what's going on? Don Calypso. So did you get the bad case of itis after overindulging in Guatemala's custody? No, actually, I was looking for this clip, the full clip, and then I didn't want to run into homework with my grandson. Sounds like a new mic. I think what's happening is the StreamYard settings are changed a little bit. That's all. Stephanie, what's going on? Spain man, dominant black male leader, going on. Black in the middle, guy incognito, what's going on? JBA, low key darkness, what's going on? JBA, what's going on? 414 money, what's going on? Travis, what's going on? What's going on, man? Ain't seen you in a minute. And that's it. So let's go ahead to where I started with, and this is what I started with. So sent to me by Sao Chi. This is about 4 minutes, and I actually wanted to get into the longer clip. So I'm gonna present this first. This is where I first saw it, and she's Ghanaian, so she's African. So this is a kind of a different story, but then she became Americanized really quickly with education.
Most women can say that. It's a hard thing for women to say. My ex-husband was a very sweet man. He took care of me like no other person would take care of me. He took care of me when I was seasoned. He took care of me he took care of me when no one else was there. He was there. And so the love that I have for him, even now, I think would never be like, I don't know, never say never, but I don't know if I could love anybody the way I love him. So when we first got here, my whole focus was school. He told me not to work, not to do anything. This man worked 2-3 jobs just to make sure I was going to school. Listen, you give props where props deserves. He worked his butt off to make sure I went to school. I got all types of degrees then. It's all types of degrees. Just kept on to school and kept on to school.
Oh, your husband was cooking for you, right?
Oh, cooking all types. You know, now you know that man was for it's a fancy man. You know he was cooking all types of stuff for me. I did not cook. I still don't know how to cook. I don't care. After my divorce, I didn't know how to put gas in my car.
Now this is typical of what they call the educated 92s, right? He sent her to school, and she never learned how to do anything. She was never really a proper wife. But this is just a short. This is the clips that he took from the interview.
I did not know how to put gas in my car. Every Sunday, he would wash my car. He would put gas in my car, and he would clean it and bring it. Ladies, I love all of that. I love all that over something that I could have probably, at that time I took it for granted. Like when he didn't wash my car, I'd be like, why didn't you wash my car? Like, why are you not washing my car today? Like, that's no more. This is what he did. He washed my car. Every Sunday, washed my car and put gas. I did not know how to put gas in my car.
Do you think the degrees got to your head?
Yes. Yes, I think it got to a point. I had the job, I had the corner office, right? I was working for the state of Ohio. You couldn't tell me nothing. Here I was meeting with the mayor and blah, blah, blah. And I was out there and, he'll say something. And I'll be like, what you up?
And this is an African woman, right? And she had been corrupted by the educational system, okay? When that's the problem. I always say that men get intimidated when they get a degree, or they get intimidated when the woman earns more money. But they don't factor in how much their attitude changes towards that man when they get a degree, or when they get that money, or when they elevate themselves above him. Okay? They forget that. And men know this. Men know this. How come men get tentative when she gets a degree or makes more money? They know that this is about to come with it.
You from Montecito, sit down somewhere. I'm the one that filed for you. That's another story, okay?
Yeah.
That's another story. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that because women, I think a lot of people will talk about this filing situation when you file or you file for somebody to get their green card or become, whatever it is. They don't owe you nothing. If that's your husband, that's your husband. Like, you file for your husband. Why do you think you have to get something from that? And not all of those relationships ends up bad. Not every relationship ends up bad because you file for the person. It's the way you carry yourself. You can have your green card, they can have their green card, you can get together and your relationship can still go sour. It's how much watering you want to put into that relationship, right? Like, so I filed for him and I need to throw that in his face like it was water.
Well, guess what? I should throw it in his face like it's water. Every time he sparked up and wanted to assert himself, she threw it up. She used it as her ace in the hole.
Start talking. I'm like, I'm about to call immigration on you. About to call immigration on you. Immigration. Meanwhile, hold on. Meanwhile, I'm scared. Meanwhile, I didn't mean it. I took him for granted. Right? Like, men needs to feel validated. Just like women want to feel validated, men want to feel validated. They want to feel important. And I think I took him for granted. I took the fact that he's always going to be there.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing about black women especially, but women in general, but black women especially. He's always going to, he's not, no matter how I treat him, he's not going to go anywhere. Okay?
He has nowhere to go. He loves me, and I took it for granted. I lost a sense of respect for him, the respect that you give a man to be able to help him to become the leader. I didn't do that. I took so many things for granted. I don't.
Yeah, that's the clip. Okay, that's like 3 minutes, but I wanted to know the whole story. Okay, I wanted to know the whole story, so that's how come I'm a little late because I went and dug up. Sometimes they don't put the actual site up, so the actual link to it. So you have to go look for it. So that's what I was looking for. So I found the whole clip. We don't want to feel important. We want to know we're important, whether she remembers or not. The thing is, you don't want to be disrespected, and what she did by doing that is disrespect. And women don't realize that's disrespectful. And men, and a lot of that happens here online. Okay, they talk to you in a kind of way. They talk down to you. They say that you're dusty broke. They don't know that's disrespectful, and eventually, okay, that's going to come back and haunt you. Men will take heart to that, and it'll fly back on them. That's how come the manager is created, because they had those kind of attitudes, disrespectful attitudes. I hear that was something Louis was sharing with me about. It's supposed to be a bunch of Africans, right? Talking about, do African women get anything out of marriage, right? And a lot of this stuff, a lot of this kind of tone is starting to pick up. So now a lot of African women are starting to become Americanized. As the environment changes, and there's a lot of things they did say, as we can earn for ourselves, as we can do for ourselves, our attitudes will change. And she just showed you an example of what happens when the attitude changes, right? So this is from Dennis Bentel, okay? His channel, I put it on the screen. You can look it up. It's about 5 months ago, and this was sent to me by an African person. What she saw, she's from Liberia, and that's how come he sent it to me. And no matter how good the woman is, if the environment changes, she can change, okay? Now, will she change as fast? Probably not. Like, even though she was yak, she didn't file for divorce on him. He did it, okay? I said, wait until those brothers run into a non-black woman who demonstrates respect for them. That makes brothers snap. Yeah. And I think it's not here, it's all over the world, right? Where women are smelling themselves, right? And they're, like I said, Kevin just said, they got their dick out, okay? And they put it on the table, okay? And then they expect men not to react, and this is all over the planet. It's not just here. Anyhow, the first part she talks, she goes. I don't want to go through the whole thing because it's like an hour and almost like almost 2 hours, right? So speed it up just a tad, and we get into the meat of her and her relationship with her husband, right? Even though she talked about her marriage, where they came from, relationship with her parents, and I think the death. This is right after the death of her child. Okay, and I'm gonna get into this. Said big girls in the house, run, black men run, SYSBM. Yeah, well, she's also Ghanaian, so they like their women shaped differently. So
I truly don't know how I dealt with it. Like, I think I was in autopilot for so long, having seizures, having a child with disabilities, having a child. I used to go to IEP meetings and I would dread it. And for the purpose of the audience, individual educational plans, I used to go to these things and I would dread it because I was like, what are they going to say about my daughter today? What are they going to say about my kid today? She was not supposed to live. She's 18, by the way, and she was not supposed to live. And in the process of it, I'm going through a divorce. My husband is happily cheating, is what we're going to call it. And
You said you were in the hospital and he brought someone
to my house.
So what for the purpose of those who are watching and so that we can all learn from. I'm also married. I'm a young guy, so that I can also learn. So when we say, I remember asking my mom, so nobody marries the enemy, right? We all start off loving each other. Like when you're talking about your story, you were so in love. Like you guys have been through the thick and the thin. So at what point did you guys drift away? Like, is it just because of the death of your child, the two kids, or what were some of the mistakes that you feel like you made that contributed?
So I think the death of Cameron was a huge factor into the reason why we got separated. But one of the other factors was that we were very different backgrounds, different situations. And I think at some point I took him for granted. Right? Like men needs to feel validated. Just like women want to feel validated, men want to feel validated. They want to feel important. And I think I took him for granted. I took the fact that he's always going to be there. He has nowhere to go. He loves me, and I took it for granted.
the whole thing about, and I've heard that many, many times, right? That black women would get their ass on the shoulder, do all kind of crap, right? And then when you leave, they always say you weren't supposed to leave. Okay. You had no place else to go. Why'd you leave? Okay, because they didn't think you would leave. They thought they're supposed to sit there and take it, even though because I used to talk to them. And I was very expressive about, hey, I don't like this. What you doing? Yada yada yada. And it's like you ain't got no place to go. You're nothing, right? It's because you're steady and you're a decent guy. They take you for granted. Okay, they do. I said, don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? They paved paradise and put up a parking lot. Yeah, Joni Mitchell. Yep. Don't know what you got till it's gone. That's typical black woman.
I lost a sense of respect for him, the respect that you give a man to be able to help him to become the leader. I didn't do that. I took so many things for granted. Now that when I think about it, I'm like, like he says one, I'm saying 55. We get into an argument and don't play. I was mean. That New York came, you not going to tell.
See, I was mean. See, she's telling you, I was mean. Okay.
Me, you're not about to tell me. I tell the story that one day we were talking, we were so mad, and I called him. I was like, you know what, you nigga. He was like, what? The way he was angry, I was like, why you so mad? You a nigga though? Like, you a nigga? Like, I'm a nigga. Like, we niggas. And then he was like, I don't think. And my ex's way of dealing with things was he was very introverted. So when things got hard, he didn't talk to me. And that was one of the hardest things ever. So the more I did that to him, the more I pushed him away. Mm-hmm. We ended up to the point where we were sleeping in separate rooms. He wouldn't talk to me for months and months and months. Months and months and months. No, like literally months and months and months. I've shared this in another podcast. So get ready. This is going to sound weird. He would literally come and we'll be intimate and I would sleep through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would sleep through it. Yeah. Yep. She was just there. Okay.
No, like sleep. Like my dad.
So you're having sex and you're snoring.
Like what? Gone. No sleep. Like I will wake up and think to myself, what What with the outfit? Because I'm sleeping. It's how it's how disconnected I was. It's like gone, gone. Because he was such, a quiet person. You're not talking. You haven't spoken to me for 3 months. You cannot obviously think that you're going to approach me and think I'm going to have, anything.
Passion and sex. Yeah, well, that's true. You have a point. Do you think black women secretly despise good men? I think they take them for granted. They treat good black men like towels and soap in a hotel, right? You don't notice until towels and soap aren't there. And black women love drama. They like the feeling of excitement, and what excites them. Same thing's going on in the WNBA, right? Okay. It's not the basketball that the women like or the black women like. What they like is the controversy, the drama. It keeps them dialing in every day. Who said what? Who disrespected whom? Blah blah blah. That's what they like, the story. Okay. And good black men, when everything's going well, there is no story.
Towards you. I'm not a rabbit. What is it? It's like I couldn't understand it, and it's because he didn't feel that he got that respect he needed to be a man. Ladies, if you guys are watching me and you are hearing me, put your pride away, man. Sit down somewhere. When the Bible talks about being a submissive woman, it is not the end of the world. Your husband is supposed to take care of you, therefore you can be submissive. Allow that to happen. It is okay. I have 2 master's degree and lost. I want to be submissive to some man out there someday, if y'all watching.
Well, it's a little late for that, but especially in America. In Ghana, maybe, but in America, probably not.
I want a man to come back into my life whom I can share my life with. And I want to learn from those mistakes. I want to be able to respect that man. It's not what I did in my previous relationship, and it did not help me.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's why women want love and men want respect. Okay? Women want love and caring and emotional labor, and men want respect.
Do you think the degrees got to your head?
Yes. Yes, I think it got to a point. I had the job. I had the corner office, right? I was working for the state of Ohio. You couldn't tell me nothing. Here I was meeting with the mayor and blah, blah, blah. And I was out there and, he'll say something. And I'll be like, what you talk about? You from Hunkasin? Sit down somewhere. I'm the one that filed for you. That's another story, okay?
Yeah.
That's another story. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that because women, I think a lot of people talk about this filing situation when you file for somebody to get their green card or become, whatever it is. They don't owe you nothing. If that's your husband, that's your husband. Like, you fought for your husband. Why do you think you have to get something from that? And not all of those relationships ends up bad. Not every relationship ends up bad because you fought for the person. It's the way you carry yourself. You can have your green card, they can have your green card, you can get together and your relationship can still go sour. It's how much watering you want to put into that relationship, right? Like, so I fought for him and I need to throw that in his face like it was water. He'll start talking. I'm like, I'm about to call immigration on you. About to call immigration on you. Immigration. Meanwhile, hold on. Meanwhile, I'm scared. Meanwhile, I didn't mean it.
Yeah, you were just talking because you like to talk.
I love to talk.
No, he was you. No, you did mean it. You didn't. You talked because you wanted to put him down. You wanted him to feel lower. You disrespected him. You knew you were doing it. Okay, you weren't playing. You weren't playing because anytime he had his balls and he wanted to speak up, you threw it in his face because you wanted to demean him. Okay, you want to disrespect him. You want to lower him. Okay, you wanted to basically what you did was castrate him. As a black and African men, we have to stop trading dignity for sex and companionship. You know what? I'm a Sigma, so disrespect never sat with me. Probably why I'm not married, because there's certain things you can say to me and certain things that you can't. Yeah, you cannot disrespect me, okay? Because on that day, I don't take lightly to that, and women do not know when to stop. You talk to them. So talking to a black woman is like talking to a wall, okay? The black woman only understand environment and force, okay? Unfortunately, that's what they consequences is the only thing that shape black women up, and some men forgive them, okay? And I was not as forgiving. Let's put it that way. Okay, probably call it Sigma pride, but I was not as forgiving. Anyhow, continuing. But that's why I wanted to share it because it bothered me. And like I said, she's not American. She's Ghanaian.
And he didn't talk. I needed that. Find your love language and find somebody that meets you halfway. He did not like to talk. He did not like to talk. I used to just want to just talk about my day. Come in, how was my day? Da-da-da, what's going on? What's happening? And we could not connect in that way. And so I would get mad and I used to use things against him.
Yes, see?
Right?
See? Now that's way before he cheated. That's way before the child died. This is her being mad at him and taking her frustrations out on him. Okay? Her punishing him, by saying things like that because she had it over him. So, and he was an immigrant. He didn't have a green card. Okay? He was trying, and she would threaten him. Okay? By threatening to get him deported. Okay? Because she had it over him. And she used it. She used it as a whipping, as a whipping stick. It took her 10 years to realize it, but yeah.
Like, as women do sometimes, we're vindictive. I used to throw that in, I filed for you. I'm about to call immigration so they could take me. What an embarrassment. Now I look at it, I'm like.
In other words, you shamed him, okay? Yeah, she looks at it now, but that's Black American. An African woman may or I don't know. I'm not African, so I can't say, okay? But probably would not have done that. But her going to an American school in the American system and getting her degrees and feeling that she's American and she's learning from her sisters, this is stuff that they spew out. Environment, right?
Don't do that, ladies. Do not use things against your spouse.
Look at them in the camera and don't.
Do not use things against your spouse. If he messed up 2 years ago, let it go, y'all. Stop bringing it back up. It's okay. Loving your spouse and being a fool does not mean you're a fool forever. It just means you love your spouse, because at the end of the day, when you're lonely by yourself. Stop. It's not worth it. Give people a chance. I don't care how much you have gone to school. I get it. I get it. Now that I sit here, I get it. I am a nice looking woman. I'm educated. What is the word? There's a word in tree I'm trying to think. A rabbi, yes, right? Like you get, isn't that what every man wants?
Mm-hmm.
Yet I'm here at 45 single.
Yeah, because your degrees don't mean anything, okay? And she's in like I said, in Africa and Ghana, you might be the cup of tea, but you're in America, baby. You are not the cup of tea in America. The time, okay, by the time, oh yeah, I actually did a video on that. By the time I get to Phoenix, she'll be rising. She'll find the note left hanging on the door, and then she'll cry just to think I would really leave her. Yeah. Though time and time I tell her I didn't think she'd really go. Yeah, yep. By the time I get to Phoenix, that's true. Check out the Isaac Hayes part though. The Isaac Hayes version of it. Yeah.
Because I didn't do the things that I was supposed to do to hold on to something. We judge so frequently over things. Ladies, unnecessary things. If his shoe is flat, buy him another one. If his shed is ripped, buy him another one. Things will get better depending on how much you water it. Yeah. I did not do that. I'm bold enough to say I didn't do that. I'm bold enough to say that I was not at a maturity level that I can understand that relationship, and I can understand how much respect meant for my man in that relationship.
Say it again. Say it again, Black girl. I didn't realize how much respect meant to men in a relationship, right? Even today, even with women trying to win us back, okay? And they're trying to win us back because they know they've lost. And they'll do everything else except what? Respect us. Okay, they're trying to compete with us to up their value and make their value seem like it's more than it is. And guess what? Men don't care. Okay, men understand authoritative mating. Okay, if you're at that level and you're unattainable, men will actually say, okay, well, I can't reach her. I can't afford her. That's not my level. That's not my station. I'll get something that's at my level. Men understand that. So your education level and all that kind of stuff doesn't mean anything to them, because guess what? And this is why. This is why when men don't care, right? Now, she made more money. She had the corner office. She had 2 master's degrees. She was educated, all that kind of stuff. And she cut his nuts off, right?
Because I was asking for all of these romantic things, but I wasn't respecting him. So how could he give me that? How can I ask for something that I don't know how to give? A lot of females ask for that these days, right? They want the proposal, the ring, the this, the that, but they haven't done the work to earn those things. You have to do the work. Because nobody's with you when you're in the bedroom. Nobody's looking. Instagram, Facebook, they all turned off. When the cameras are all turned off, you are just with that person. So I was not doing those things. I was not doing the work. I was not putting the work into it.
Recently, Shaquille.
And that's the funniest thing, man, because one thing she said earlier, right? Okay. Now, she was being mean to him, and she was taking it out on him, and she knew his personality. He wasn't well, most Africans are not really confrontational, especially Ghanaians. Ghanaians are not confrontational people, okay? Ghanaian men are not really confrontational people, okay? Nigerians, maybe, South Africans, definitely, some others, definitely, but Ghanaians, by and large, are not confrontational people, okay? And he's gonna do what a Ghanaian man will do. He's not gonna he's gonna do. He's not gonna say. He's not gonna set up and fight with you. Okay. And she did that, so she wondered how come he kept withdrawing. Okay. But you kept doing the same stuff to make him withdraw. And maybe he didn't talk to her. Maybe he couldn't communicate. But she knew that.
Neil had a podcast, and that's a new podcast. And then he was talking about vulnerability, and he said a man should never be vulnerable to a woman because that's how most men feel, that like when they become vulnerable, or when you are down and a woman helps you, they use that against you eventually.
Yeah.
But I would say it's not every woman.
It's not every woman.
It's most women, though. It's not everyone. It's most women. That's like men are afraid for a woman to be ahead of her, ahead of him. Okay, because she does do. And it's not just black women, though. Okay, this is women across the board. But you want equal rights. You want the kind of lifestyle that you want. You want to be better than your man. Okay, and then when you get better than your man, then you resent him for you being better than him, even though you don't qualify for the man that you think you do.
Not everyone. Yeah.
It goes both ways. Vulnerability should be expressed in both relationships. In order for me to be vulnerable towards you, you also have to learn how to be vulnerable towards me. And we have to meet halfway.
Yeah.
One of the things about relationship is giving, right? In life, it's kind of like you have the two water bottles. If this becomes a little bit more, you want to pour this one in. But what happens is you keep pouring into this, and then this gets empty. There's nothing left to hold on to.
In other words, he poured so much into it, there's nothing left to hold on to, right? He poured so much into her, he didn't get anything back.
You cannot love with the emptiness. It has to balance. That's how God wanted it to be. God needed Eve to help Adam to do what Adam needed to be. God put us together so we can do that, so we can balance that out. But what happens is one person tend to pour into the other person, or vice versa. And that's where the friction comes. So the vulnerability but you have to understand yourself, right? Like you have to understand what your love language is, what you need from a relationship, what makes you fulfilled, like what you need to make you feel like you are.
You see, that's the whole thing, right? That's why marriage is dying, right? Marriage used to be acts of service, right? A man sacrifices for his wife and his kids, okay? One's supposed to sacrifice for her kids and her husband, okay? It's supposed to be sacrificed. Now it's what do I get? Which is fine. If you want to be transactional, especially women nowadays, is what do I get? What do I get? What do I get? Guess what happens when a man says, what do I get? And 9 times out of 10, what does a woman say? Now, she's in a little better position because she earns more money and she got her degrees, blah, blah, blah. But guess what? She probably wants a man better than she.
Safe. Because I had my ex-husband cheat on me, now I'm very self-conscious. I have trust issues. So in my next relationship, I need reiteration, right? My love language is words of affirmation, repeat it over. Yes. I know I'm beautiful. Tell me again. I know I look good. Tell me again, right? It's one of those things.
In other words, kiss my ass, okay? Basically, you're setting yourself up for the same problem over and over and over again. In other words, pour into me because I'm insecure. Pour into me because I won't make the same mistakes with you that I made with him, but still pour into me. Instead of reversing, I'm going to pour into that man.
Things that you have to work on in those relationships, and you have to balance each other out. Understand that sometimes the balance is going to come from the female. So just because you work and you pay all the bills for 6 months or for 2 years or for 10 years doesn't mean you're going to do that forever. It means in that moment, that's the opportunity you got. Maybe in the next 10 years, it's going to flip around. You got to be able to.
Or if it doesn't flip around, If your relationship works, like Dolly Parton has been married to the same man for Earl for 50 years, right? Same dude, okay? Dolly Parton, what makes Earl drives a steamroller, okay, forever. Okay, Earl was a regular blue collar guy. Dolly Parton makes 100 times more, or maybe 1,000 times more than Earl did. You, she never threw it in Earl's face. She loved Earl to death. He let her be Dolly, and she loved him to death because, because no matter how big she was, how much money she made, she loved Earl. Okay, and when she got home, she cooked and cleaned for Earl, and it didn't matter. Anyway, who is this woman, and why do I care about her failed relationships and bad ideas? Is she famous? No, she's not famous. But thing is, uh, she's Ghanaian, and she's just a regular chick. But thing is, um, like I said, uh, uh, repetition is the master of skill. Okay, you're gonna hear this. Okay, you're gonna hear this, especially with 92s. Okay, okay. Let me play a little bit more of this. I got another clip. Okay, actually, she did withhold sex. Got that right. She probably withheld sex and kept disrespecting her ex-husband before he cheated. A tale as old as monogamy. Yes, yes, she did. In fact, she did. I think later on, I probably don't have time to play it, but later on, she did say that.
Balance it out. And you have to be able to understand that we're going through this for the long haul. Divorce is not an option. So when you have your problems, because there's no perfect spouse out there. So the people that's looking for perfect spouse, y'all find them. Let me know where they at. There's no perfect spouse out there. There's no perfect partner. There's no perfect anything. We all have faults. So you find that person, find what you connect with, pray about it, and then work towards being that perfection. One of the things that hurt me after my divorce was like, Ted, I put so much effort into that man. Now he's about to go give that to somebody else. I done taught this man how to do this. Oh, you couldn't tell me anything. My Valentine's days and my birthdays, my ex-husband was the best. I would walk in that room and I know I had a Victoria's Secret box just waiting for me, perfume. I taught him that because I wanted that, right? Like now he went and shared that with somebody else. You pour all this energy into another person and you get into a fight because they do something. And within
And you taught him to serve you, okay? And he did all this stuff for you, okay? What did he get in return? He got disrespect, okay? Like all that stuff you did, all the stuff you talk about, stuff he did for you, okay? Like I said, he put gas in your car, he washed your car, he cooked for you, okay? You didn't know how to, you still don't know how to cook, right? All the stuff he was doing for you, he still got disrespected, right? He wasn't good enough. In my humble opinion and experience, the only way to deal with a black woman is with the ruthlessness of a benevolent dictator, particularly 92s. Ask me how I know. You and me both, sir. You and me both.
a twinkle of an eye, you lose everything. Learn to fight for what you believe in. You're not always going to be right. You're not always going to win either. But you fight for it anyway because it's worth it. You keep fighting and keep holding on to it. And you're going to have another fight and he's going to say something and you're going to say something and it's going to be ugly. But the ugliness is a part of relationships because that wouldn't be right. That's part of it. You go through the ugliness, the disgustingness, the fear, and then you get over it. I'm not saying it's not going to happen because one day you're going to look at your spouse and you're like, oh, he disgusts me.
See, that's the whole point. See, they expect men to sit in that. Men are not like that, okay? Women, Cheyenne Bryant was saying the same thing to Nick Cannon about fighting and not running away, okay? That's female shit, okay? Men don't like that shit. Fighting and saying something ugly to each other is something that they said, okay, and women do it all the time, right? Okay, the two women that are friends or say something ugly to each other and fall out and they won't talk to each other for a month and then you walk in one day and they're going to lunch together. What happened? Oh, we talked it out, we made up, and we back good friends, okay? That's what women roll. Men don't roll that way.
That happens, but then you get over it. And then one day you're going to look at them and say, God, I'm so proud of him or her or whatever the situation is. And I try to tell my girls this all the time because I want them to be able to look at more than 6 feet, dark and handsome is what they look for, these young girls of today. Yeah.
Oh, your husband was cooking for you, right?
Oh, cooking all the time. You know, Dennis, now you know that man was for it's a fancy man. You know, he was cooking all types of stuff for me. Cook, I did not cook. I still don't know how to cook. I don't care. I don't listen. If anybody's thinking that I'm cute, thank you very much. You want to be with me? Yeah, I'm not gonna cook. Yeah, so come on, we go and learn together. I'm willing to learn. Yes, he was cooking. He did all types of stuff that
You really wanted lottery, because for a Ghanaian man to be with, when I met my wife, I'm like, that's a deal breaker if you can't cook. Lucky me, my wife is a chef. She can really, she loves to cook. But for a lot of Ghanaian men, if you can't cook, it's a deal breaker. And for how many years were you?
almost 20.
20 years, and he was the one cooking all the time.
He was cooking, he was cleaning. Okay, well, she cleaned. Okay, but he was cooking, he was doing all this stuff for her, right? He was kissing her ass, he was doing all this stuff, right? She still disrespected him.
Time.
And then, were you doing the cleaning?
Yes, I am. I will clean. I'm a clean freak, so I want to clean everything. But even that, he didn't mind cleaning. You know, he was just a caretaker. He loved taking care of me. Actually, it got to the point where I've said it before, I'm always sick. And I used to think that if I didn't get sick, he didn't have anything to do because he had gotten so used to me being sick all the time. Didn't I do that? Like that became sort of.
And she was sick all the time. On top of that, okay? On top of that.
Like my crutch.
Oh, so were you using it as an excuse? Like, if you wanted attention, would you pretend to be sick?
All the time. All the time. All the time. All the time. You know me, Dennis. You know, I can't even lie all the time because I knew the type of treatment that, like, he'll be talking to me about something I didn't want to hear. And all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my goodness, I feel dizzy. I can't. Like, that was my thing. That was my go-to thing because I knew he enjoyed taking care of me. And I enjoyed being taken care of.
Did he tell you he enjoyed taking care of you? You were used to it.
Mr. Heat says, I heard you say once, the only way to keep a black woman is to leave her at least once. I've left quite a few before, but I have never went back to find out. That's the whole thing. Now, that's a trick. Can you take her back? She blamed him because he was fat. No, I think what he's saying is that she didn't know how to cook. And basically, what they're trying to paint a picture is how well he actually took care of her, right? In other words, he didn't have the degrees, right? No, he didn't earn the money. But guess what he did? He did all the other stuff.
Do it.
I was used to it. And he never complained. You know, so I felt like after my divorce, I didn't know how to put gas in my car.
What?
I did not know how to put gas in my car. Every Sunday, he would wash my car. He would put gas in my car. And he would clean it and bring it. I love all of that. I love all that over something that I could have probably, you know, at that time I took it for granted. Like when he didn't wash my car, I'd be like, why didn't you wash my car? Like, why are you not washing my car today? Like, that's normal. This is what he did. He washed my car every Sunday, washed my car and put gas. I did not know how to put gas in my car. Like, I'm not kidding. So that's what he did.
Man.
Here's a good concuserve. Concuserves get tread upon, right? They are the stool for which women put their feet.
I guess he kept giving and giving and giving. And you also taught he's not going nowhere.
If you told me he was going to leave, I would have never believed you.
Even when he was cheating, you were like, nah, he's just cheating.
He's going to come back. He's going to come back. He knows where home is. That was my excuse. He's going to come back.
So from our conversation previously, I know you found out that he actually got married.
And had a baby. And it broke me. He went to Ghana. After all the years of me filing for him, he got his green card. And I begged him to go to Ghana to see his family. I begged him to go to Ghana and see his family. He had a son, older son in Ghana. He went to Ghana. And I remember his son calling me and saying to me, Dad is getting married. I was like, no, he's not. Talking nonsense. Oh, he got married. He got married in Ghana, a whole wedding.
Yeah, remember, people think that African relationships and marriages are like it is in the West. No, they're not. They're all, it's probably where we get it from, okay? We think that they're more stable, which they are a little bit more stable because of the community that they're in, right? But the thing is, a lot of that bullshit that we have in America, we actually brought from West Africa, okay? Hear all the bullshit, just the bullshit of him having an older son in Ghana, and he's with her in America, and now he's moving on to the next one, okay? Very typical.
Matching clothes and everything. Oh, I was mad because I didn't get that. It's not. I didn't get that. I was mad. Like she went to Ghana, came back, and I remember when he came back, we were still living together. And he came back. He's a fancy guy, so he didn't really speak Chi very well. He spoke Ghana. He was born in Accra, boy, my guy. He grew up there, and I remember he came from Ghana. He was speaking Ghana. You know, Ghana is a very strong language. We were just talking about how, and I could hear. I was like, something is wrong. And I remember looking at him. I was like,
That's what I'm saying. Basically, it's always Jermaine's fault, right? So you like I said, that's what I told myself, man, when I left my ex, right? I'm gonna be the bad guy anyway, so might as well embrace it and move on. Don't let it bother you, because that's what they use it against you. Being a good guy, they use being a good guy against you.
what is going on? And he said, um, is it not my mom and my sisters fighting with the girl? And I said, what girl? What are you talking about? He's like, don't worry about it. It's just, it's just my mom and my sister fighting with the girl. I said, what girl? What are we talking about? Like, I could not connect the thought that he could actually do that.
So even though the son had told you, you still didn't believe it.
I was in love. I didn't believe it. And, I think I was like, where's he going? We've been together our whole lives. We've been together.
In other words, not going anywhere, and that's what they bank upon. And a lot of black women bank upon that. No matter how they treat you, he's not gonna go anywhere.
Since he took my best years, I took his best years. He was a young man too when you met me. He wasn't old. He's 20-something years old. In America, new in America, living his life, and we met, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that he had actually gotten married. I was like, what? What do you mean he got married? No, he.
So you did a traditional
and a
white wedding. Well, because it was, people would say it's illegal, but because it's a different country, so.
Yeah. So, yep, all of the above. He did all of the above and then came back and acted like it was nothing.
And you guys were living together.
Living together. He just man acting like it's nothing going on. So, and I think that was his way, right? Like, he wanted some respect. He needed that female to make him feel like he still was a man.
Yeah.
Right? Is that an accurate assumption? Like, he needed somebody to make him feel like he was still a man.
Yeah, in other words, you would say stuff to belittle him and degrade him and embarrass him and castrate him. And that's how you would get even with him not being what you wanted, okay? So you get even with him. And so by cheating and by marrying another woman, he got even with you. The mess we actually weave, right?
I was not playing that role. I can honestly admit to you, and I'm not blaming myself for it. No one forced him. No one put a gun to his head to marry her. However, he was struggling as I was. We were both young. We were both struggling. We were both going through it. So I think, I say that to say that he needed an ego boost.
So with all that disrespect or taking him for granted, do you feel like your kids obviously saw that?
So my older daughter probably saw that, but she didn't understand it, right? Like, I think she only understood that Daddy was cheating. So even now, she's very mad at him. She's very angry at him. And she's angry at him not because he cheated. She's angry because she feels like she lost a relationship with her father. And she wants her father back. And she wants her father to put a lot more effort into building a relationship with her. So she's very reserved. And, like I said, I tried not to push her too much, but she saw that. She saw that her father cheated. She saw that her father was not really present for her emotionally. So when Shaq talks about vulnerability, African men, Black men, it's important to be vulnerable. It's important to show emotion. It's important for you to be present, especially for your daughters. You are your daughter's first husband, boyfriend, everything. That attitude is what she's going to use to grow up. And that is what is going to mold her. And my kids really have struggled because they lost that.
So I know from the beginning, you were very resentful. So how did you get to this point and then realizing your mistakes and all the things that you did?
God. God smashed you in the face one day and you just like poof. And then I think as I got older.
Past 40, right? That's when the animus, the male brain, the logical brain kicks in for women.
I started to understand things and forgiveness wasn't as hard any longer. I kind of let go of everything that I was holding on to. I wasn't resentful anymore.
How long did it take?
I'm thinking like 10 years. Yeah. I was mad at him. I was mad.
And a lot of that stuff, she says her daughter's mad at him because she didn't have a relationship with him. She's picking up that anger. She picked up that anger from her mother. Okay. I can tell you that. Okay, well, they're not going to admit that their relationship with their father depended a lot on how their mother's outlook toward him was.
And I was about to, let me tell you how mad I was. In the middle of our divorce, one day I was talking to a different gentleman. We had separated at this time. And I was like, I'm going to get him back. I'm about to, this guy was telling me all types of sweet things, the romance, the phone. I think I was in love with him on the phone. And I said, okay, I'm about to go to New York. We're about to go get away, go to a weekend getaway. I'm going to do this. And I took we got to New York, Dennis. I got so scared. That boy came close to me. I was like, oh, I got my period. I can't. I changed my mind. I was ready, like, I was ready to explore. Like, it was so exciting. And he was, the little touches. And I was like, yeah, I'm about to show him. Like, he think he doesn't want me. There's so many other guys out here that want me. Got to New York. We got to the hotel room. I was like, oh, it just got real. I said, oh, we really about to do this. I said, oh, no, I got my period. Where I don't even know if he was mad at me. He's like, I brought you all the way to there. We got a whole hotel room. I'm treating you like a queen. You gonna tell me you got your period? Yup. Still got it. I had my period for like a whole 5 days. Lying. But that's when I knew. That's when I knew how much I loved him. That's when I knew that I had lost my best friend. That's when I knew that I need to start praying for forgiveness for myself, for how I acted in that relationship. Like, I mean, therapy and God and all of that. It's like, I was like, wait. What did I do? Because I didn't realize it when I was doing it because I was so mad. How dare he go and get married to somebody else and he's cheating? You, me too, I'm pushing.
And you wonder how does the daughter even know y'all business? Is because I ain't never met a woman that don't talk. Okay, where she mad? If she can't talk to you, she gonna talk to somebody. Okay, that's how she knew. That's how they knew.
I'm the one that's pushing him out there with my mouth. He could not come to the house without me.
Yep.
Where you been? What you been up to? He wasn't happy. Ladies, make your house peaceful. If you don't do that. Ladies, listen, I'm telling you this from my heart. Make your house
In fact, you got African women now saying don't be his peace. They have African, just I was listening to it yesterday, right? Because I was wondering, I said, these can't be African women. They have to be in America. Those African women starting to pick up some of these ways. Like, don't be his peace. Okay, they're going to fuck around and find out.
Safe haven for your man. So he will want to come home.
Yeah. So
he will want to be. I tell this to my girls. I tell this to lots of people. Guys, and tell me if I'm wrong, Dennis. No man is out here. Yes, looks matter. Yes, there has to be a certain amount of attraction. But really, that's not what men look for. I tell my kids this all the time. Because let's think about Beyonce. Jay-Z still cheating. And she's a whole stomach. But
Big Chris, she was never skinny. She was never small. Okay, that is he married her this way.
Right? Everybody's looking for this, especially now. All types of surgeries, all types of things. You have to have all of it. Right places, right package. Men don't care about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Men want to be peaceful. They want to be able to have. They want to be able to come home and know this is my safe haven. You could be the Beyoncés of the world, and they would not care if you're not giving peace of mind.
Yeah.
And what she's preaching, too late, but she's preaching.
Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with a amount of makeup on your face. Nothing. It has to do with your heart and the way you behave, and the way you treat them, and the way you make me feel ultimately. Because how you make me feel ultimately is going to determine how I treat you. And that's why we hear of all these divorces now.
Mm-hmm.
All of these different little things that's happening. I mean, make your house a safe haven. There's a way to talk to a man. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, a lot of these dudes, man. I was just saying that on AB's panel on Saturday, right? He was playing some clip where this chick was going off, man. I don't understand how you young dudes allow women to talk to you like that. I said it couldn't be me. Okay. That's one thing I never allowed. Okay, there's a way to say things to me, and if you're gonna have that kind of tone, I'm not gonna be around you very long. And even the women that did have it, okay, it was rare when they sparked up like that because they knew. Okay, as soon as that tone came out, I'm out the door. And you do it twice, you might not see. You do it once, you ain't gonna see me for a day. You do it twice, you might not see me for a week. That third time, it's a wrap. If it doesn't take too much to keep a man, and a woman can't even do that, it won't take much to lose a man either. What's tragic is how common the song that she's singing, my aunt sang that song. Yeah. They take it for granted, and that's the problem. That's the crime. She's telling you she took it for granted. Now she's not even American, right? She's trained a different way. She's trained to stay in her marriage, okay? And she thought because of the training that he was going to take abuse. And she admitted I was abusing him. You know, I get mad because I want to come on and talk about my day, and he's not a talker, so she would talk smack to him. She would belittle him, and she didn't think it was going to come back on her.
Degree's not going to go away. Your beauty is not going to go away when you're submissive. When you're calm and you're good, it's not going to take away your beauty. You're still going to look good when you wake up in the morning. Trust me, I've tested it out. There's nothing, you lose nothing from just being that person. You lose nothing. It's still going to be there. Understand that. I mean, like, I can talk to females all day and tell them about what I did wrong, because I did a lot wrong. And it took me a long time, a lot of pain, a lot of heartache, a lot of stuff. The stuff that I'm talking about is a lot of stuff. I mean, I had kids that I have to now explain to how relationship works, and they haven't had a dad and they haven't had a male figure because I did this to myself up to a point, and you have to be able to admit that and move on. But it took a long time. A lot of prayers, a lot of therapy.
But when you didn't have the degrees, when you were just Natalie, you didn't take him for granted.
I didn't, but I was also younger.
It's bullshit. You did. You didn't have the degrees, okay? You didn't have that self-esteem puffing up your head. It's bullshit.
Right? So we didn't have as much responsibilities as we did when I did have the degrees. With degrees, with money, more issues, the more problem.
I guess for women, it feels like when most of the time when women make more money, they kind of take the man for granted and kind of disrespect the man. Do you think?
Yes, especially culturally. Because in our culture, a woman is not supposed to take care of a man.
Yeah.
So it is definitely hard in our culture for it to be a situation where, yes, that is the case. I did it.
Yeah.
I did it. I'm the one that's taking care of this.
Yeah, and a man would, especially when a woman starts making more money than him, he already starts feeling insecure. And then on top of that, you throw it in his face constantly, then it's gonna make him feel
it don't work.
Yeah.
It's work. It doesn't work. But I mean, thank God for grace, right?
Yeah.
Thank God for grace. And I've come a long way. Till now we don't have much of a relationship. We don't talk very much. I wish we did, because there was times when we used to talk about everything. He's my best friend. But I don't think we've ever been able to restore that
relationship. Okay. So we've talked about divorce. We've talked about your relationship. Now let's dive into your business.
Well, that's you're gonna talk about something different. But that's what I want. I wanted to hear the whole story. Okay. Because they that little piece. She didn't just walk out one day. So it was a process. But the thing is, she's honest about it. Okay. She's honest about what she did to cause all this way before he cheated. And notice, when she didn't have the degree, she didn't have the money, they didn't have these problems. Well, she said more money, more problems. Because when she got the money, she got the degree, she changed. And that's the problem with them elevating women in this culture, right? Elevating these women even over the man in this culture. Is because when you puff up their head with their self-esteem, their status, and their degrees, they abuse the men that they think are beneath them. In fact, there's one more I'm going to play real quick. And this is a typical 92, and this is actually sent to me by Marshall. Okay, and this is what I call a 92 climber. Okay, go ahead in this one, and then we're gonna jump out of here and go to Arts, because the Arts panel is probably rolling about now. So I'm gonna send you over to Arts in a little bit. I'm just gonna play. This is probably the last one I'm going to play. And I'll play a little bit of this, and she kind of, this is a 92 climber, okay? This is a 92 climber, and it's sent to you by Marshall. And this is what happens when women elevate themselves over men, right?
On dating outside of my social class, and I answered that I would quite literally never do that, and here's why. For the purpose of this question, I took social class to sort of mean like socioeconomic class, so my economic status, maybe around how much money I make, the social status, like perhaps the caliber of school that I went to and the spaces that I found myself in as a result and the people I found myself surrounded by, and then also like the lifestyle I created for myself. It's a combination of like the economic status and the school and the spaces and all of that. I think you guys get how that fits together. It's important to note that I did not grow up with a lot of money. My father went to prison when I was 4 years old. During that time and all the time after, like my mom has been a public school teacher, so they don't make a lot.
Doesn't she sound like now a public school teacher whose father went to prison when she was 4? Okay, and does she sound like a lot like Cheyenne Bryant?
Of money when we first moved to Atlanta. We lived in a 2-bedroom apartment with 7 people sharing 1 bathroom. Like I literally shared the bottom bunk of a bunk bed with my second oldest brother, and then my oldest brother and my sister-in-law were on the top bunk of that bed. Okay, we were not a Jack and Jill family, okay? Money was not, we didn't have a lot of it. So knowing my circumstances, when I was like 12 years old, I made this vision board for myself. My mom actually found recently in her storage unit. I had basically carved out my entire life, like what I was gonna do in high school to make sure I could get into an Ivy League college, and what I was gonna do at that college to make sure I could get into a certain law school or buy a certain car and have a certain apartment or home. Like all of these things I had planned out, and I knew that because my family didn't have the same financial resources someone else's did or access to certain people to get me into doors, I had to open them myself. So that's what I did. I created an insane amount of opportunities for myself by literally putting my blood, sweat, and tears into everything I did. From the time that I was 12 years old until now, like 23, I was so intentional about every decision I made, whether it was not dating in high school or not drinking or prioritizing school or trying to get different scholarships. I did everything in my power to make sure that the life I was creating for myself while I was kind of stepping into the autonomy that I would have as a young adult, even as a teenager going into a young adult, being able to create the life I want to, that I was doing everything in my power to have something different than what I had growing up. And of course, I didn't have to do this. I didn't have to stay up all night applying to scholarships to earn over $500,000 to go to college, and have to apply to Columbia and do all the things that is required to get into a school like that. But I wanted to because I wanted to have a certain.
No, she's bragging right now. Okay, she's not just laying out her her background. She's bragging.
In life. Even when it comes to content, when I started making content, I was taking 19 credit hours. I was working 3 days a week in office at my internship, but then I was also working with a tech startup virtually, and then I also started doing content. And it was probably one of the hardest times in my life, but again, I knew that I wanted to set myself up for greatness, and that is what was required. So knowing that, understanding how much work I put into the person that I wanted to be and the life I wanted to have, feels so unfair to me now, and also to my younger self, who was just so forward thinking and like put so many things on the back burner to prioritize the life that I would have right now. For me to date someone who cannot give me the life that I've always wanted, like they can't match it. I don't even need you to give it to me because I've already gotten it for myself, but if you can't be right there with me, it's not fair to me to lower.
It's called hypergamy, right? This is where they think, and this is where they all think. Okay.
Or my standards or accept certain things that I knew I never wanted to, which is why I work so hard on myself just so that I can be with you. And it is not lost on me the fact that a lot of guys my age are just not going to have what I have, because I'm in a very unique position to make an insane amount of money for someone my age. And that's where the other part of the socioeconomic status comes in. I need to at least see that you have worked as hard as I have to put yourself into certain spaces.
This is why I come up with the octanes, right? This is why I tell you what class of woman's going to give you what kind of attitude, right? Okay. Now she's a climber, right? Just like the other young lady, okay, that we just played. The other older woman was a climber, right? And she married a man, and he didn't climb with her. And this is the attitude that she brought home. She didn't tell you all the attitudes she brought to him, but this is the thinking, right?
Is to open up certain doors for yourself, to go to certain schools or whatever it is, because you have this intrinsic ambition and drive, because you know that you also have your eyes set on the sort of lifestyle that I do, and that is what you're actively working towards every day. Not having that does not make you
not accomplishments, right? Men go after accomplishments. Women go after what? Lifestyle. I want a lifestyle. It's not an accomplishment. Men want to go to school, they want to make money because they want to accomplish it, right? Women want a lifestyle.
Bum. It doesn't make you undesirable. It doesn't make you an unattractive man or anything. It just makes you incompatible with me and the lifestyle that I want to have. I appreciate the drive that I have and the confidence that has been instilled in me because of all the things I've been able to do for myself, and I really appreciate that in other potential partners as well. So if I'm really considering like seriously dating someone, not just like a casual date, whatever, this is something that is a requirement for me. It's not like oh, I hope or maybe I will. I've tried it before. I'm not doing it. This is what I require, and I don't think it's a lot to ask. Shit, I asked it of myself at 12, and look at where I am.
See? That is the mindset of a 92. Okay, that's why I warn you. Okay, pick women by their class status and pick women by what they bring to you in the class status is because that's going to happen, which is the problem when you get a woman that climbs, right? He's an African. He thought sending his wife to school and her getting degrees and her making more money because she had the aptitude was a good idea, and he paid for it, and they both paid for it. I said, okay, she thinks she looks don't matter to men, and low key thinking because she's being obese is because Beyonce got cheated on. She took one step forward and rolled 2 feet backward. That is true, but the other part is she's not saying that. What she's saying is no matter how you look, you can be Beyonce, okay? You can be Beyonce, but the thing is, if you don't bring a certain kind of mindset, a certain kind of attitude, and a certain kind of peace to a man, how you look is not going to matter. Okay, most guys, 90% of guys, not going to come home to a Beyonce that's a bitch to them every day. There are some guys that will. Okay, and I met some of those guys, and they were miserable for the most part of the time. They weren't happy. Okay, most guys, I don't care how she looks, he's not going to come home to that every day. Okay, he's not. I said, she sounds like Charlie Brown's teacher. Clark the climber. Yeah, she is the climber. She's a climber. So what I'm saying is that's why watch out for climbers, okay? Watch out for climbers. And she probably sleeps with guys from her status level on the low. Well, she's not going to marry the guy, but she's going to sleep with him. I've met chicks like her before. She'd make a good wife for a politician. I hope she likes getting cheated on. Dead serious. Yeah, well, yeah, she probably will sacrifice for that. The next woman basically lived out of their mother's and grandmother's dream. Found it didn't make them happy, and now they're collapsing. It didn't work. Yeah, well, they ran the experiment. Kensington Red BGS, you channeled your inner Mr. Z on this one with this one. I think sometimes Mr. Z channels me, but the thing is that I wanted, I saw it. It was sent to me, and sometimes you have to reaffirm it. I wouldn't have done it if I couldn't have found the original, because I wanted to know her story. And the thing, what makes her interesting is she's not American. Okay, she's Ghanaian. She's Ghanaian. Okay, and Ghanaians are usually pretty mild. Okay, she's Ghanaian, even though she would have never divorced her husband. The thing is the mouth. Okay, and she knows African men don't like that mouth. And she held her position over his head. Okay, she became an American woman by holding the green card over his head and shaming him. And what he do? He started cheating and he left. Okay, most guys cheat like that because they want you to divorce them. They want out, so they're gonna force you to push them out. And that's probably why he started cheating and all this other kind of stuff. He wanted out. Sometimes some men don't have the guts enough to go ahead and file. So he cheated so that she was forced to get rid of him. She was forced to file for divorce, even though you can tell she really didn't want to get divorced. Okay, she didn't. She was pissed at him. She didn't want to get divorced. But the thing is, he put her in a position where she was actually embarrassed. She had to divorce him, and he never went back. In fact, if I find it, I'll actually play the clip where 8 years after, I think 8 years after the divorce, something like that, she went to him and she tried to reconcile, and he wouldn't. But we'll do that another time. Okay, Jay, do you have a separate videos on Octanes in your Patreon? I don't have it in my Patreon. The only Octane videos I have is in a playlist. Okay. I don't know how many I've done. I must have done at least 20 Octanes. If you go back and look at my Insecure series, the whole Insecure series is about Octanes. So there's a lot of Octanes in. If you go back and look at the Insecure videos, there's a whole lot of things about Octanes in the Insecure videos, because Insecure was nothing about class and female class. Anyhow, yeah, you never, I never did. So and some people say you should, some people say you shouldn't. But anyhow, y'all, Art's winding up. Art New Styles got his stuff going. Let me go ahead and see if I can find his link real quick. I'll paste it in there, because that is the next place we're going. So I'm gonna share it here, and then I'll share it in my community tab. And he's rolling, so I'm going to go ahead and wind it up. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. I skipped a couple super chats, did I? Okay. Let's see. So you have separate videos. All right, you answered that one. And you channeled your Mr. Z. Okay, I talked about that one. Gen X, basically, okay, I just Dr. T. I did read that one. I read that one. He sounds like Charlie Brown's teacher was Kinsey and Red. I think I did that one. Okay, I did that one. Solus. Let's see what else I got. Anybody else? Now I read that one. Let me see. I think I got them all. Mr. Heat. Got the ruthlessness of, we got that one. I think it. She probably withheld sex and kept disrespecting her ex-husband before he cheated. I think I read that one too. Okay. Who is this one? Okay, I know I read that one. By the time I get to finish, read that one. At what point do they be honest with themselves and admit they want male wives? Okay, I missed that one, Mr. Donnie Mack. Okay. They can't is because they're taught that a man should take care of them. It's hard to get past that. Read that one. I read that one. Let's see. Okay, read that one. So the big girls in the house run, big man run. That's YSBM. Okay. Okay, I think I got them all. I think I got them all. I think I got them all. All right, folks. Let me get out of here. I don't think I have any cash apps. I'll check for that real quick. And then we're out. Oh, Good Grief sent me one. Okay, appreciate you. And that's all for the cash apps. Okay, y'all, let's get out of here. And we're on to arts.